Hi, welcome to Click to Clean. I'm your host, Kyle Casper. We're going to take a little break from cleaning and deodorization, and we're going to look at two pieces of equipment that are used in the water damage restoration industry. Now, when I was in the industry, we used LGR dehumidifiers on the bulk of all our jobs. In fact, I never used a desiccant. I knew a little bit about them, but I didn't have the slightest clue of what they were used for, how they operated, and what were the real benefits of them. So the purpose of this video is to maybe shed some light on desiccants and LGR dehumidifiers and when each one can be used. Let's go ahead and compare and contrast them, and I'll see you back here in a bit.
Conventional dehumidifiers work on the principles of condensation. The simplest way I can show you how a dehumidifier works is to take a cold beer or soft drink out of the fridge and set it on the counter. After a minute or two, you'll start to see condensation occur. The reason condensation happens is because the temperature of the glass is much cooler than the dew point of the air. Well, the same thing happens with a dehumidifier. It draws in air, runs it over the cold coils, reduces the temperature of the air below its dew point, and condensation occurs. An LGR dehumidifier is different in that it produces lower grains. This actually cools the air even before it hits the coils, so that way the coils can be much more efficient at removing moisture. The water is then collected in a tray and pumped out in a liquid form to a drain or sink. They work best between 70 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. The easiest way to explain desiccant is to open a bottle of supplements or look in a pair of new shoes. You'll find a small canister or a packet that contains a desiccant material. This is usually silica gel. Silica gel removes water from the air through chemical attraction with a process called adsorption. A desiccant dehumidifier has a rotor that is impregnated with silica gel. The dehumidifier draws in damp air and pushes it through the desiccant wheel. The silica wheel absorbs most of the moisture, and warm, dry air is pushed out the process out. In order to remove the moisture from the silica gel, it needs to be heated with a furnace. This process is called reactivation or desorption, where the moisture leaves the silica gel and is vented out the reactivation outlet as warm, damp air. Because desiccants don't operate on the principles of condensation, they can actually work in even sub-zero temperatures, making them very valuable. To set up your LGR dehumidifiers, first determine how many pints per day you need to remove from the structure. Setting up an LGR dehumidifier is fairly simple. Place your unit in the room, find a power source, and find an area to pump out your water. Desiccants are rated in cubic feet per minute rather than pints per day, so do your formula to figure out the number of machines. The main reason most people don't want to use desiccants is because of the picture in our intro. It just looks confusing.
So this is the absolute most simplest and easiest way to set up a desiccant. Hook up your ducting to the reactivation outlet, pump that damp air outside the structure. Piece of cake.
If for some reason you can't open up a window, just duct it into another LGR dehumidifier. This is known as a condensing desiccant. Some desiccant dehumidifiers have a fourth hole, which is used as a reactivation inlet. This gives you the option to put the room under neutral pressure rather than positive or negative pressure. Just like an LGR dehumidifier, a desiccant also has a process outlet. This can be used when you can't fit your desiccant in a room, such as the ceiling here. If you really want to make a desiccant work well, try to duct in the coolest, driest air you can get. Duct this into the process in. Lastly, most small desiccants have the option to be operated in both the horizontal and vertical position. This makes it good for small crawl spaces as well. LGR dehumidifiers usually need one circuit. Smaller portable desiccants will need 2 circuits, and your big trailers will need diesel or an alternative fuel source. Desiccants are typically more expensive than LGR dehumidifiers, but at the same time, you can usually bill more for them. Most of the cost comes from the desiccant rotor in your desiccant dehumidifiers. Now, because a desiccant dehumidifier can be scaled to virtually any size, it's really the best option for you on your large losses. In your large catastrophe type situations, trailer mounted desiccants are perfect for this, being that they usually have an alternative fuel source. In order to really show you a difference in performance between the two machines, I did a test here at my workplace. It's a medium-sized classroom. As you can see, it's fairly cool, doesn't have a lot of humidity, and has pretty low GPP. I let both machines run for 45 minutes. Because the room is pretty cool, it's no surprise that the LGR dehumidifier couldn't do much with the humidity or the GPP. We let the desiccant dehumidifier run for 45 minutes as well. However, it thrives in this temperature. As you can see from our meter here, we have single-digit relative humidity and GPP. With this in mind, remember that with great power comes great responsibility. You can actually over-dry a material with a desiccant dehumidifier, causing structural damage or cracking. There are some new models that do have built-in humidistats, and this will help with that problem to some degree.
So hopefully after watching the short video, you have a little better understanding of how these two different types of technology can dry a structure. So just remember, your LGR dehumidifier works really well in warm, humid environments. It thrives between 70 and 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, if you're just doing residential dry downs, these will work 90 to 95% of the time. But in that other 5 to 10% of the time, a desiccant can do things this dehumidifier never could do. It can get single-digit GPPs, as I mentioned earlier. This allows you to really dry things like plaster, concrete, any type of thick material that has bound water. Also, if you're doing large loss drying, because you can scale these up to any size, they make a great choice for you. Lastly, if you're up here in the northern states, if you cannot warm the temperature up above 60 to 70 degrees, desiccant would be a great choice for you. Thank you for watching. My name is Kyle Casper. You've been watching Click to Clean. If you have any questions about the equipment you saw in the video, would like a quote, or would like to order some, please give me a call. My phone number and my email address will be in the description below. Thank you for your time. We'll see you in the next video.